So one of the key components of the Neighborfest program, in addition to all this amazing food and the jumpy house, people coming together and connecting and just having a good time, is the Neighborfest Map Your Resilient Field table. Right over here, I got my partner here over there, Rodney Hampton. He comes out here, he attends every single one of the Neighborfest, and he comes out and runs this table. Now the bottom line is, what happens when you walk up a table? Well, first of all, we have this amazing game, we call it, the Map Your Resilient Field game. The game that there are no wrong answers. That's why it's the world's greatest game. So check it out, look over here. So you come over here, and the first thing we ask them to do is actually asset map, where do they live on the street, right? So look over here, you got this information right here, right? My name, my address. There's actually a map of their street as well. So they actually indicate on here, like, I live at 643, right? So right off, they asset map their block for who lives where. Boom, step two, we pull back, we look at the whole neighborhood. We say, okay, now, in the event of a disaster, it might be as long as 72 hours where you have food and water and power and any help. So where in your community or even on your block or in your home can you find water, power or fuel, convening space, food, shelter, and medical, right? And what's really fascinating is how many people actually know much more about how ready they are until they ask the questions like, well, I guess I do know where it is, right? So people realize I can shelter in my car, or I've got a propane tank for my barbecue. So it's a really powerful system because it helps people self-identify how ready they are just based on their own existing knowledge or intelligence. However, at the end, Rodney says, okay, well, thanks for coming by. And then, by the way, here's some great preparedness information, right? Like, so here's the sf72.org materials, right? But look, this one's in Chinese, right? Because our neighborhoods are so diverse now that we got to make sure they have access to information that's culturally competent, right? So then again, we have them in English as well. So here's a really simple card. Make your plan, boom, boom, boom. All this created by the Department of Emergency Management as part of the 72hour.org program. We love promoting all the great programs. We love promoting neighborhood watches. We love promoting the NERT program. We love promoting SF72. The bottom line is, it takes a village to make a neighborhood disaster prepared, right? And the city has all these great programs, and we need to make sure they're connected with them. And that's what Rodney does. Rodney comes out, engages them in a very positive, excited way. And guess what? At the end, not only do they know more about who's on their street, but they also know more about how ready they are. And if there are any gaps, he can give them this information. Now, what's the pièce de résistance? Check it out right over here. This is the big red bin. I want to thank our partners over at Recology, because this is one of the major contributions they make in addition to providing all the refuse materials for the event. Inside the big red bin, check it out. So when a disaster strikes and you want to help your neighbors, what do you need? Well, we want everyone to have their own personal preparedness kit because they got to customize that for themselves. But the big red bin comes out and bang, check it out, Ronnie, you love this big red bin. Ronnie's like, here's your vest. Why? Because we want people to know you're doing response, right? Here's your goggles, right? Because you're going to be helping clear out their space. Let's protect your eyes. Someone's got a cut, bang, you got a first aid kit. Wait a minute, what about your helmet, right? So you got to have your helmet on. Why? Number one injury you want to avoid? Injury to your head, right? Guess what? Here's some latex gloves in case you got to clean up sensitive, or hey, let's not cut ourselves, right? Let's use these leather gloves and pick up materials. Why? Because in the earthquake in Napa, what they found is more people got injured in the cleanup than they did in the actual earthquake itself. So this bin also has a big roll of visqueen plastic so that people can actually cover the windows if they break, and so they can shelter in their home and not have to worry about losing temperature, right? The bin's full of all these great resources. At the end of the day, we roll this map up, we put it in the bin, we give it back to the owner, we close it up, uh-oh, we know that helmet works, and bam! We close it up and we give it to the owner or the host of the event, and they put this in their garage. And now guess what? If there is a disaster, boom, the team that hosted the block party comes together, right? They pull out their red bin, they pull their map out, they say, okay, what's happened in our neighborhood? Well, first of all, let's check on the people on our block. Then let's look for the resources we have in your neighborhood. And now let's open up this bin, hand out our gear, and let's get to work. And that's what neighborhood empowerment's all about. That's what the Neighborfest program does. And what we're doing here in San Francisco is really simple. We're taking the homework and we're turning it into fun work. And take a look around us right now. Look at this amazing group of people talking, connecting, taking back their space. This is what Neighborfest does. It creates a place that people can come out and meet each other. And we all know nowadays, a lot of people just don't know their neighbors as much as they used to, right? Maybe they didn't live here their whole life. Maybe they didn't raise kids together. Well, now the Neighborfest builds back that social capital, that social cohesion, so that even if you've lived this block for 90 years or you live in the block for 1 year, now you've broken bread, you know each other, and now you know you need to take care of each other, right? So the Neighborfest program is really trying to create that community that everybody deep down inside wants, but we're doing it in a way that they like it, and that's by building in the fun part. So check out neighborfest.org. You'll learn more there, but it's great having you out here today joining us here on Lisbon Street in the Excelsior of San Francisco.